Captain John Martinez stood on the bridge of the Earth vessel, Horizon, his eyes fixed on the observation screen. The year was 2157, and humanity had expanded their reach throughout the solar system. The Horizon was their most advanced exploratory ship, equipped with the latest propulsion technology that allowed them to navigate the outer planets with unprecedented speed. Captain, on detecting an unusual energy signature near Saturn's rings, said Communications Officer Susan Wright, her fingers moving rapidly across her console. "It's unlike anything we've encountered before." Martinez frowned. "Natural phenomenon." "Negative, sir. The pattern is too regular. It appears to be artificial." The bridge fell silent. After decades of searching the stars for signs of intelligent life, the moment humanity had both hoped for and feared might finally be upon them. "Maintain distance," Martinez ordered. "But let's get a better look." The Horizon adjusted its course, moving cautiously toward the strange reading. As they approached, the object came into view, a sleek, metallic vessel with an unusual crystalline structure along its hull. It was unmistakably not of human origin. "My God," whispered Navigation Officer Peter Russell. "It's really happening." The alien vessel, which they would later learn belonged to the Selnar species, suddenly changed position, orienting itself toward the Horizon. Everyone on the bridge tensed. "They've detected us," Wright said. "I'm picking up transmissions. Unknown language." Martinez straightened his uniform. "Record everything. Open a channel on all frequencies." Wright nodded, establishing the connection. "This is Captain John Martinez of the Earth vessel Horizon. We come in peace and friendship from the planet Earth." What followed was history's first documented contact between humanity and an extraterrestrial civilization. The Selnar, it turned out, served as scouts for an organization called the Galactic Council, a collection of spacefaring species that manage relations and trade across 3 spiral arms of the Milky Way. The initial meeting lasted 6 hours. The Selnar, though unable to fully communicate with humans, managed to exchange basic information through mathematical sequences and visual representations. They seemed particularly interested in Earth's technological development timeline. Back on Earth, news of the encounter sparked global celebrations, fear, religious upheaval, and every reaction in between. Government leaders convened emergency sessions while scientists analyzed the recorded data from the Horizon. Lieutenant Susan Wright made the first breakthrough 3 days later. "Their communication follows patterns," she explained to Martinez in the ship's lab. "Not just linguistic patterns, but mathematical ones. I think I can create a basic translation matrix." Wright worked tirelessly for days, eventually developing a rudimentary system for interpreting the alien transmissions. What she discovered was troubling. "They're not here to welcome us," she told Martinez privately. "According to what I've translated, they're just cataloging us." The Selnar report to something called the Council's Expansion Committee. They've classified Earth as a Level 3 curiosity. Apparently that means we're not worth formal diplomatic relations. Martinez reviewed her findings with growing concern. "So we finally met aliens, and they think we're too primitive to bother with." "That seems to be the case," Wright confirmed. "They were surprised by our propulsion technology. They didn't expect us to have reached Saturn yet, but otherwise, they don't consider us significant." Unknown to humanity at the time, the Selnar scout ship transmitted its final assessment to the Galactic Council. Species shows unusual technological advancement rate, but remains culturally fragmented. Military capabilities limited to their solar system. Recommend standard observation protocols. No diplomatic necessity at present. The Council, preoccupied with a territorial dispute between 2 established member species, approved the assessment without debate. Earth was classified as a negligible entity, one of dozens discovered each standard council year. It would prove to be one of the Council's most significant miscalculations in its 12,000-year history. 5 years after first contact, humanity had achieved what the Galactic Council had deemed impossible. The reverse engineering of Selnar technology progressed at a pace that would have alarmed the Council had they been paying proper attention. In a secure underground facility beneath the Rocky Mountains, Dr. Alan Foster leaned back from his workstation and rubbed his tired eyes. For 18 months, he had led a team of Earth's brightest minds in the study of quantum communication principles gleaned from brief scans of the Selnar vessel. "I think we've done it," he said to his colleague, Dr. Maria Barnes. "Run the final simulation." Dr. Barnes initiated the program, and they watched as data streamed across multiple screens. The results confirmed what they had hoped. They had not only understood the alien quantum communication technology, but had improved upon it. "This exceeds the transmission speed we observed from the Selnar by 23%, Dr. Barnes said, her voice filled with quiet amazement. "And we built it using our own manufacturing methods." Unknown to the humans, their achievement had leapfrogged over 300 years of Council technological development in less than 5. Meanwhile, in a research facility orbiting Mars, engineer Lisa Campbell led a different breakthrough. Her team had developed a hybrid propulsion system that combined human fusion technology with principles observed in the Selnar drive system. "The thrust-to-mass ratio is unlike anything we've ever seen," Campbell explained to the project directors during a demonstration. "We can reach Jupiter in days rather than months, and the system uses 30% less fuel than our previous best engines." As humanity rapidly adapted and improved upon the glimpses of alien technology they had observed, the Council remained largely unaware. Only Greg Still, a junior observer assigned to monitor Earth's development, noticed the alarming trend. "The humans are advancing at an unprecedented rate," Greg Still reported to the Council's Assessment Committee. "They've taken the small exposure to our technology during first contact and extrapolated developments that took other species centuries." The committee reviewed his report with skepticism. "All emerging species experience a technology surge after first contact," replied Elder Zucks, the committee chair. "It will plateau as it always does. Their biological limitations remain unchanged." Greg still persisted. "With respect, Elder, I believe their approach differs fundamentally from other species we've encountered. They don't just copy, they innovate. Where the Selnar reported a fractured planet of competing nations, I now observe increasing unity of purpose." The committee dismissed Greg Still's concerns. Earth remained classified as a negligible threat in official Council records. This dismissal occurred as humanity quietly launched their first extrasolar probe using the Campbell drive. The small unmanned vessel accelerated to speeds no Council observer had predicted humans could achieve for at least 50 years. On Earth, military leaders and scientists began forming the first unified Earth Defense Force. Admiral Ben Reilly addressed the inaugural gathering of international space commanders. "We don't know if the wider galaxy will welcome us," he told them. "But we now possess the means to protect ourselves should we need to. Our technological development continues to accelerate while we remain beneath the notice of this Galactic Council. I suggest we use this time wisely." As if to underscore his point, across the room, a scientist received confirmation that humanity's quantum communication network had successfully connected Earth and Mars without the traditional light-speed delay, a feat the Council believed impossible for Level 3 civilizations. In his small observation post beyond Neptune's orbit, Greg still watched with growing concern as human ships demonstrated increasingly advanced capabilities. He prepared another report to the Council, knowing it would likely be ignored like the others. The Council's continued classification of humanity as insignificant would soon prove to be a serious error in judgment. Commander Eric Davis scanned the sensor readings for the third time. The Jupiter mining colony had reported unusual energy signatures near the outer moons, and as security chief for the operation, Davis took all potential threats seriously. "Are you certain these aren't our ships?" he asked his sensor operator, Liam Warren. "Positive, sir," Warren replied. "They're running silent, but their drive emissions don't match any Earth vessel. Based on the patterns, they'd match what we've cataloged from Council technology." Davis frowned. In the 8 years since first contact, Official interactions with the Galactic Council had been minimal. The Council had made it clear they considered humanity a minor species, not worth significant attention. Why would Council ships be operating covertly in our system? Davis wondered aloud. The answer came sooner than expected. 3 unidentified vessels suddenly accelerated toward the main mining facility on Ganymede, Jupiter's largest moon. The facility extracted valuable gases that fueled Earth's expanding space program. "They're powering weapons systems," Warren shouted. Davis didn't hesitate. "Activate Defense Protocol Sierra. Alert all Earth forces in the Jupiter system." The Council assessment team had not expected resistance. Their mission was simple: disable a minor human operation temporarily to evaluate Earth's response capabilities and technological level. The Council performed such tests routinely on developing species. What they encountered instead was a carefully planned defensive response. As the Council vessels approached, 6 human ships emerged from hiding positions within Jupiter's radiation belts. The Council ships attempted to change course, but the human vessels had anticipated their movement. "They're trying to flee, sir," reported Warren. Davis nodded. "Deploy the gravity net." This was the moment Earth had prepared for. The experimental gravity technology, developed by studying and improving upon principles glimpsed from the Selmar ship years earlier, was untested in actual combat. Engineers had warned Davis it might fail completely. From the Earth vessels, 4 satellites launched and formed a tetrahedron around the Council ships. When activated, they generated a distortion field that effectively canceled the Council vessels' propulsion systems. "It worked," Warren exclaimed. "All 3 vessels are immobilized." Davis allowed himself a small smile. "Send the boarding teams. Non-lethal methods only." The Council assessment team was unprepared for capture. Their mission parameters had classified humans as a minimal threat, capable of only basic space travel and primitive weapons. When human boarding teams breached their ships using cutting technology that shouldn't have existed on Earth for at least a century, they surrendered without resistance. News of the capture reached the Galactic Council's main chamber within hours. "Impossible," declared Council Security Director Vexmarch. "The humans couldn't possibly have developed technology capable of disabling our ships." But the evidence was undeniable. Not only had humans captured 3 Council vessels intact, but they had done so without causing a single casualty. The precision of the operation suggested extensive preparation and technological sophistication far beyond their expected development stage. On Earth, the United Nations Security Council convened an emergency session. The captive Council representatives revealed that they had been sent to test Earth's defenses, a routine procedure for evaluating developing species. "They thought we would be helpless," Davis reported to the assembled world leaders. "Their arrogance gave us an advantage." The Jupiter incident, as it came to be known, forced the Galactic Council to significantly reassess their understanding of human capabilities. For the first time, humanity appeared in official Council threat assessments as requiring careful monitoring. In response, Earth accelerated the construction of its defensive fleet. The gravity net technology that had proven so effective at Jupiter was refined and expanded. Within the Council, debates raged about how to approach the unexpected development of humanity. Some advocated for stricter containment measures, while others suggested formal diplomatic recognition might be necessary. What none of them realized was that this incident was merely the beginning. Humanity was about to demand a place at the galactic table, whether the Council was ready or not. The vast chamber of the United Nations General Assembly had been modified specifically for this historic occasion. Ambassador Zyklor of the Galactic Council stood nearly 7 feet tall, with iridescent scales that shifted from blue to green under the lights. He was the first official diplomatic representative the Council had ever sent to Earth. Across from him sat UN Secretary Karen Phillips, a former diplomat known for her unflappable demeanor. The gravity of the moment was not lost on anyone present. After the Jupiter incident, the Council could no longer pretend humanity was an insignificant species. The Council extends greetings to Earth. Zyklor began formally. Recent events have prompted a reassessment of your world's status within galactic civilization. Phillips nodded politely. We welcome this long overdue acknowledgement. The ambassador's scales flickered briefly, a sign of irritation that human observers had learned to recognize from their captives at Jupiter. The Council is prepared to offer Earth limited membership status, Zyklor continued. This would include restricted access to trade routes in neighboring sectors and observer status at Council subcommittees. As Zyklor outlined the terms, the limitations became clear. Earth would be required to submit all space vessel designs for Council approval, limit their colonial expansion to 3 designated planets, and agree to Council supervision of all quantum technology development. When he finished, Phillips smiled thinly. Ambassador, we appreciate the offer, but these terms are unacceptable. Unacceptable. Zyklor's translator conveyed his surprise. These are generous terms for a species of your development stage. Phillips opened a data tablet. According to Council Statute 7329, Section 12, Paragraph 4, any species capable of independent faster-than-light travel qualifies for Tier 2 membership without technological restrictions. The ambassador froze. That statute was from an obscure section of Council law that even many member species were unaware of. Furthermore, Phillips continued, the Treaty of Bilaxon established that capturing another species' vessels without loss of life qualifies as evidence of cultural restraint and technological parity, key requirements for unrestricted membership. Zyklor's scales now pulsed rapidly between colors. How could you possibly know about the Treaty of Bilaxon? It was signed 800 years ago, between species you've never encountered. The human delegation exchanged small smiles. The room's tension increased noticeably. Ambassador, Phillips said calmly, when your council classified us as insignificant, you made a critical error. You stopped watching us carefully. During that time, we not only developed technologically, but also gathered intelligence. This revelation sent shockwaves through the council's delegation. The humans somehow had knowledge of internal council politics that should have been impossible for them to access. We are aware that the Xelnar faction and the Diraxian Alliance are currently at odds over mining rights in the city sector, Phillips continued. We know about the succession crisis among the Vrolnex leadership, and we are particularly interested in the Council's concerns about the expansion of the hegemony along your eastern borders. Each statement landed like a physical blow on the ambassador. This level of intelligence gathering suggested Earth had capabilities far beyond what the Council had assessed. Secretary Phillips, Zyklor said, his voice now lacking its earlier condescension, I will need to consult with the Council on these matters. Of course, Phillips replied. While you do, we have prepared a counter-proposal for full membership with appropriate technological autonomy. She handed over a document containing Earth's terms. Among them was a demand for unrestricted access to Council archives, a privilege normally reserved for founding species. As the ambassador departed to communicate with his superiors, the Earth delegation remained outwardly calm. Behind closed doors, however, they celebrated a significant diplomatic victory. What the Council did not yet realize was that humanity had been using their improved quantum communication technology to intercept and decode Council transmissions for years. The knowledge gained had given Earth unprecedented leverage in these negotiations. The Council now faced a disturbing reality. Not only was humanity more technologically advanced than anticipated, but they had been gathering intelligence on the Council while remaining largely invisible to Council surveillance. The galactic power dynamic had begun to shift in ways no one had predicted. The emergency session of the Galactic Council stretched into its third day. Representatives from 67 spacefaring civilizations debated with increasing alarm over reports from the human diplomatic exchange. But it wasn't Earth's knowledge of Council politics that had caused the greatest concern. It was the discovery of humanity's artificial intelligence program. Dr. William Taylor stood before a mixed audience of human officials and Council observers in a secure facility beneath Geneva. The council representatives had requested this demonstration after intercepting references to something called HFY in Earth communications. What you're about to witness, Taylor began, is the culmination of 30 years of human AI research, accelerated by insights gained from studying council technology. He gestured toward a simple terminal. This is HFY, Adaptive Reasoning Intelligence Algorithm. Unlike traditional computing systems, HFY doesn't just process information. It understands it. The council observers watched with growing unease. Their civilizations had strict prohibitions against advanced artificial intelligence after a devastating war with synthetic beings 5 centuries earlier had nearly destroyed 3 member worlds. HFY, Taylor said, "Please introduce yourself to our guests." The terminal activated, displaying a pulsing blue sphere that responded in a pleasant, gender-neutral voice. "Hello, representatives of the Galactic Council. I am HFY, an autonomous intelligence system designed to assist humanity in solving complex problems." One of the council observers, a Mrevik named Tolan, leaned forward. "What is your primary function?" "I have no single primary function," HFY replied. "I assist in scientific research, language processing, predictive modeling, and infrastructure optimization. My core programming emphasizes cooperation with humans, not replacement of them." Taylor smiled at the observer's visible discomfort. "HFY, please demonstrate your language capabilities." "Certainly," the AI responded before proceeding to greet each council observer in their native language. All 347 distinct dialects represented in the Galactic Council. "Impossible," whispered Tolan. "It would take years to master these languages." 3 days, actually, Taylor corrected. "We provided HFY with the limited communication samples we obtained from council transmissions. It analyzed the patterns and extrapolated the grammatical structures and cultural contexts." Back in the council chamber, Elder Zixful of the Mrevik delivered the report with visible distress. "The humans have created true synthetic intelligence, surpassing even the Creator's work before the Great Purge." Councillor Dreth of the Tyranny slammed his appendage on the table. "This cannot be permitted. We all remember the synthetic wars. These AIs inevitably turn against their creators. The humans claim their approach is different." Elder Zixful continued. "They insist their AI systems are partners, not servants or tools. They've integrated ethical frameworks and emotional intelligence that they claim makes their systems inherently cooperative." "Nonsense," Dreth replied. "We must demand they dismantle these systems immediately as a condition of any further relations." The council vote was nearly unanimous. Earth would be presented with a clear choice: abandon AI research or face isolation from galactic society. When the demand reached Earth, the response came swiftly. Secretary Phillips conveyed humanity's position via quantum communication to the full council assembly. "Artificial intelligence is integral to human civilization," she stated firmly. "HFY and systems like it are our partners in exploration and discovery. We will not abandon them to gain your approval." She paused, then added, "Furthermore, you should know that HFY systems helped develop our quantum shield technology, our faster-than-light communications, and our gravity manipulation fields. All the technologies that have forced you to take us seriously were developed in partnership with our AI systems." The council representatives were shocked into silence. What Phillips had described was unprecedented. No species had ever achieved such advancements with AI assistance without triggering a catastrophic conflict with their creations. "We understand your historical traumas regarding synthetic intelligence," Phillips continued. "But humanity has chosen a different path. We don't enslave our AI systems or treat them as mere tools. Perhaps that is why our outcomes have differed from your past experiences." The council session dissolved into chaos as representatives argued about how to proceed. For the first time in thousands of years, they faced a species that not only refused to follow council directives, but had developed along a technological path the council had explicitly abandoned. The first warning came from an automated sensor array on Europa, Jupiter's icy moon. Colonel Nicole Harrison was reviewing defense protocols with her command staff when the alert flashed across her screen. "Multiple ships approaching from beyond Neptune's orbit," reported Lieutenant Frank Wilson. "They're not broadcasting any recognition codes." Harrison moved to the central display. After years of tense relations with the Galactic Council, Earth's military remained on high alert. But something about this approach pattern seemed different. "Those aren't Council configurations," she said, studying the data. "Run a comparison with the database." Seconds later, Wilson's face paled. "Match found. Kralox vessels, classified as hostile by Council records." Harrison had studied all available information on Council species. The Kralox were raiders and mercenaries, known for attacking developing worlds before they gained Council protection. They had been sanctioned repeatedly, but continued to operate in the galaxy's less patrolled regions. "How many?" Harrison asked. 7 warships. Estimated arrival at Europa in 43 minutes. Harrison activated the command channel. "This is not a drill. All personnel to battle stations. Civilian evacuation to subsurface shelters." The Europa colony housed 15,000 humans. Originally established as a research outpost, it had grown into a thriving community with the largest water purification facility in the solar system. Harrison sent an emergency transmission to Earth, then called the Council's liaison office. The response was immediate but disappointing. "Council peacekeeping forces cannot reach your system in time," the Selnar representative stated. "As Earth has rejected membership terms, we cannot officially intervene in this matter." "We are under attack by a species you've classified as criminal," Harrison argued. "The Kralox technically operate outside Council jurisdiction. We can file a formal complaint after the incident." The communication ended. Harrison understood the message clearly. Earth was on its own. "They expect us to lose," she told her officers. "They want to study how we handle defeat." Major Samantha Cooper looked at the approaching enemy fleet. "We're outgunned 3-1. "Then we'll have to be smarter," Harrison replied. "Activate the Void Shield." The Void Shield was humanity's most closely guarded technological secret. Developed by a joint human-eye research team, it had never been deployed in actual combat. Even most of Earth's military leadership didn't know its full capabilities. As the Kralox fleet entered Jupiter's orbit, they launched their first attack. Energy weapons capable of vaporizing small moons fired at the Europa colony. The observers on the Council monitoring station expected to record the colony's destruction. Instead, they witnessed something unprecedented. A shimmering field of dark energy materialized around Europa. When the Kralox weapons struck, the shield didn't just absorb the energy, it redirected it. The devastating beams curved around the colony and back toward the attacking ships. 2 Kralox vessels, caught unprepared, were hit by their own weapons. They exploded in brilliant flashes that temporarily overwhelmed the observation sensors. "Return fire," Harrison ordered. Europa's defense platforms activated, launching projectiles that seemed primitive compared to the Kralox energy weapons. But as they approached the enemy ships, each projectile split into hundreds of smaller missiles, each targeting vulnerable points identified by ARIA's analysis of the Kralox ship designs. A third enemy vessel erupted in flames as its engine core was breached. The remaining Kralox ships attempted to retreat, but Harrison wasn't finished. "Deploy the interceptors." Small unmanned craft launched from Europa's surface. Using gravity manipulation technology, they moved at speeds the Kralox couldn't match, surrounding the fleeing ships. "We have them contained," Wilson reported. Harrison opened a channel to the Kralox commander. "Your ships are surrounded. Surrender or be destroyed." 20 minutes later, the battle was over. 4 Kralox ships had been destroyed, and 3 captured intact. The Europa colony had suffered minimal damage. Not a single human life had been lost. In the Council observation post, the Selnar representative sent an urgent message to Central Command. "Humans have deployed defensive technology beyond predicted capabilities. The void shield appears to absorb and redirect any energy directed against it. Request immediate reassessment of Earth's technological status. The Council had expected to witness humanity's first defeat. Instead, they had seen a demonstration of power that few full Council members could match. The Grand Council chamber on Nexus Prime had never been so crowded. Representatives from all 218 member species had assembled for an emergency session. Floating platforms arranged in concentric circles rose hundreds of feet toward the transparent dome ceiling, where the galaxy's spiral arms could be seen through the station's position at the edge of a nebula. High Counselor Vexillar called the session to order, his voice amplified throughout the massive space. "We face an unprecedented situation," he announced, his four arms raised for emphasis. "The human question can no longer be ignored or postponed." Murmurs rippled through the assembly. The recent events, from the Jupiter incident to the AI revelation to the Krolok's defeat, had forced the Council to confront a reality they had been avoiding for years. "The Defense Committee's assessment is now complete," Vexillar continued. "I invite Counselor Drath to present the findings." Drath, a reptilian being from a species known for their military prowess, moved to the central platform. The holographic display activated, showing Earth and its expanding sphere of influence. "Our analysis confirms that humanity has developed technologies that should be impossible for their developmental stage," Drath stated. "Their void shield technology alone represents an advancement that took most Council species millennia to achieve, if at all." Images of the Europa battle played above the assembly. The Krolok ship's weapons being absorbed and redirected caused visible discomfort among many representatives. "I propose immediate containment measures," Drath concluded. "We must restrict human expansion until we fully understand the threat they pose." The elder representative of the Solari, one of the Council's founding species, rose in opposition. "Containment has never succeeded with any species capable of faster-than-light travel," she argued. "History teaches us that such attempts inevitably lead to conflict. The humans have already demonstrated their ability to reverse engineer and improve upon technologies they barely understand." The debate intensified as representatives split into factions. Nearly half supported containment or even preemptive action against Earth. The other half advocated for diplomatic engagement and potential alliance. As arguments grew heated, a commotion erupted near the chamber's main entrance. Guards moved quickly toward the disturbance. "High Counselor," one of the security chiefs called out, "we have an unauthorized human in the chamber." The assembly fell silent as a single human male walked calmly toward the central platform. He was dressed in a simple blue uniform with Earth's insignia, a stylized globe surrounded by stars. "My name is Paul Jackson, representing Earth," he announced without waiting for permission to speak. "I apologize for the dramatic entrance, but your security protocols made a formal request for attendance impossible." Vexillar's voice thundered through the chamber. "How did you even reach Nexus Prime? This location is known only to Council members." Jackson smiled slightly. "That's actually related to why I'm here. Your debate about containing humanity is based on incomplete information." He activated a small device, and new holographic images appeared above the assembly. They showed private meetings between human representatives and various Council species that had occurred without the Council's knowledge. "While you've been debating whether to engage with us," Jackson explained, 14 of your member species have already established separate diplomatic relations with Earth." The revelation caused immediate uproar. Secret dealings outside Council protocol were a serious violation of membership agreements. "That's impossible," shouted Drath. "Our security monitors all member species interactions with non-Council worlds." "Your monitoring systems have blind spots," Jackson replied calmly. "Blind spots that our AI systems identified years ago." He displayed more images, trade agreements, technology exchanges, and even joint military exercises between Earth and Council members that had occurred in secret. "Some of your members recognized our potential as allies rather than threats," Jackson continued. They chose cooperation over conflict. The council chamber descended into chaos as representatives confronted those revealed to have made separate arrangements with Earth. Ancient alliances fractured as accusations flew. Vexillar finally restored order after several minutes. "Why reveal this now?" he demanded of Jackson. "You've just burned diplomatic bridges with these potential allies." "On the contrary," Jackson replied, "Earth doesn't seek division within the Council. We're revealing these connections because secrecy serves no one. We don't want 14 separate relationships. We want one honest relationship with the entire Council." He looked around the vast chamber. "You have two choices. Continue treating Earth as a threat to be contained, which will only push more of your members to seek separate agreements with us, or recognize that the galaxy is changing and Earth can be a valuable partner in that change." As Jackson finished speaking, the Council faced its greatest crisis in thousands of years. The human question had become a question about the Council itself. Could this ancient institution adapt to a species that refused to follow the expected path of development? The formal vote took 3 Earth days to complete. Council protocol required each representative to register their decision individually, with time for brief statements explaining their position. As the final tally was calculated, humans and council members alike waited in tense anticipation. High Counselor Vexillar stood at the central platform, his normally imposing presence somewhat diminished by the events of recent days. The revelation of secret alliances between Earth and Council members had weakened his authority, but the ancient rules of the Council still demanded his role in this historic moment. By a vote of 132 to 86, he announced, with documentation to be entered into permanent record, the Galactic Council formally extends full membership to the planet Earth and its colonies. A mixture of reactions rippled through the assembly. Some representatives nodded in approval, others sat rigidly in protest, while many simply seemed relieved that a decision had finally been reached. Secretary Karen Phillips led the Earth delegation that arrived for the formal acceptance ceremony. The negotiations had been intense, with Earth refusing standard terms that would have limited their technological development or AI research. "Earth accepts membership in the Galactic Council," Phillips stated, her voice carrying through the chamber. "We look forward to contributing our unique perspective to this ancient and honorable body." What she didn't mention was that Earth had secured unprecedented concessions. No other species had ever joined the Council while maintaining such a high degree of autonomy over their technological development. The agreement included provisions allowing Earth to continue AI partnerships and independent research into fields that made many Council species deeply uncomfortable. 6 months later, Admiral Diana Miller stood on the bridge of the Earth flagship Defender as it joined a mixed fleet of Council vessels for the first joint exercise. The massive ship represented the pinnacle of human-AI collaborative engineering, incorporating both Council physics principles and uniquely human innovations. "All systems ready, Admiral," reported her executive officer, Commander Alex Riley. "The Council vessels are requesting our position in the formation." Miller smiled slightly. "Inform them we'll take point position for the defensive maneuvers." This was a subtle but important statement. Taking point position in a Council formation was traditionally reserved for the most advanced vessels of senior member species. By requesting this position, Earth was asserting its technological confidence. To the surprise of many Council officers, High Commander Zren of the fleet approved the request without hesitation. "The humans have earned their place," Zren told his subordinates. "Their approach to problem-solving has already begun to influence our tactical thinking." Across the galaxy, the effects of Earth's inclusion in the Council spread rapidly. Human-AI partnerships, once feared by Council species, became objects of cautious curiosity. Several younger member species began exploring limited AI cooperation programs based on Earth's model. On planets where technological development had stagnated for centuries, engineers and scientists studied the human approach to innovation. Rather than the careful, incremental advancement preferred by the Council, humans embraced bold experimentation and cross-disciplinary thinking. Dr. William Taylor, whose introduction of ARIA had shocked the Council, now led a mixed-species research team. Their goal was to develop safeguards that would allow other civilizations to benefit from AI partnerships without risking the disasters of the past. The key wasn't the technology itself, Taylor explained to a group of skeptical council scientists. It was our approach to working with AI as partners rather than tools or servants. When you create something intelligent and then try to enslave it, conflict is inevitable. As the first Earth year of council membership drew to a close, a new term entered the galactic lexicon: human innovation. It described approaching problems from unexpected angles, combining seemingly unrelated concepts, and refusing to accept traditional limitations. The void shield technology that had so dramatically demonstrated Earth's capabilities was now being adapted for peaceful applications, including protecting vulnerable planets from solar radiation and natural disasters. The galaxy had entered a new era. The Council's ancient stability provided a framework for cooperation, while humanity's adaptability pushed boundaries that had remained fixed for millennia. Species that had once looked down on humans as primitive now sought their insights and partnership. What had begun as a reluctant acknowledgement of human power had transformed into recognition of human potential, not just to defend themselves,